perhaps the most famous classic in all the world of music.
Good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Siobhan Curran. I'm the Assistant Director of I2N Operations and Innovation at the University of Newcastle. We look after the entrepreneurship and new ventures function here at the University of Newcastle. First of all, I just wanted to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we're gathered on today, the Awabakal and Worimi people, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and acknowledge their ongoing continuous connections to the lands and waters of Australia. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I'm delighted to be here this afternoon or this evening to welcome you to the I2N Accelerator program, Demo Night. Firstly, just a little bit of housekeeping. In the event of an emergency, please follow the little green running man out the door. You can take your drinks with you, I don't mind. The evacuation point is just in the car park behind us, and the toilets are located on the mezzanine, so you'll have to go up the stairs, and just behind the tiered seating is the male and female toilets, but there's also an ambulant toilet just behind the tiered seating on this side as well. And there's a parents' room. It's really nice to see some babies and little ones here, but if they get a little bit noisy or you need to feed, there's a parents' room just behind the stairs as well. So, the University of Newcastle acknowledges its role in driving economic diversity and growth in our regions. The Integrated Innovation Network, or I2N as we're more commonly referred to, was established 6 years ago to support innovators and entrepreneurs no matter their affiliation to the University of Newcastle. We help fuel their success by connecting them to the 4 things we know they need to succeed, and that's access to a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, coaching through our programming, access to customers through those networks that we have established with existing program participants and our supporters, as well as our alumni at the University of Newcastle, which also conveniently can sometimes provide them access to capital as well. We have a networked and vibrant ecosystem which supports them through all stages of their journey. We operate events from hackathons, startup stories, Join the Dots, our monthly networking event, through to pre-accelerators, accelerator programs and incubation, which is co-working on our top floor of this beautiful building, the Q building. So you might remember, those of you who've been on this journey with us at the I2N, we were established 6 years ago at a prototype hub down on Hunter Street in some leased premises. It was a tiny little space compared to this beautiful building. It had 20 co-working desks and a teeny tiny event space, which we actually managed to fit an accelerator and pre-accelerator programs in. But now we're in this beautiful Q building. This is regional New South Wales' first 6-star Green Star rated building. There's some really cool tech in it. It's a building of innovation in and of itself. And in that time, over this last 6 years, we've actually helped to accelerate and incubate over 125 teams. They've gone on to raise over $26 million in capital and funding. Over $12 million of that was just in the last financial year. They've generated almost $18 million in revenue over that time, and they've created more than 125 new jobs in our region. Yeah, amazing. So none of this would have been possible without amazing supporters and partners, not least of all the University of Newcastle itself, who, when times were tough and the government grants weren't available to us, did their hand in their own pocket to be able to continue the programming at the university, at the I2N, particularly when we weren't able to rely on revenue that we were generating from co-working and venue hire fees during COVID. But otherwise, we've had fantastic support from the New South Wales Government through the Boosting Business Innovation Program. And we also have 2 key strategic partners in the Port of Newcastle and Davies Collison Cave. They help us to deliver our entrepreneurship programs and support founders with knowledge and resources to help them shape their ventures. And it's really been invaluable to have their support. The Port of Newcastle's helped shape our entrepreneurship programs, and they play an active part in our region's economic diversification. And their support enables programs like the I2N Accelerator. And we're delighted to have them with us here tonight. So I'll now hand over to the Chief Commercial Officer of the Port of Newcastle, Simon Burns, who's going to say a few words.
Thanks very much, Siobhan. G'day, everyone. I'm Simon Burns, the Chief Commercial Officer at the Port of Newcastle. Also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and waters around which we work, the Awabakal and Worimi people. and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. And, you know, we've been down at the Australian Hydrogen Forum today. And I think, you know, when you're onto something good, when people, you know, even from Sydney, start parroting something back to you. And a lot of it was, you know, around the people of this region being special, you know, innovative, resilient. And, you know, I think for us, we really believe that the principles of diversity, equity and inclusion will be the key to remaining a world-leading energy port at the Port of Newcastle. And what better way to do that than have the traditional custodians of the land that have dealt with resources and energy for millennia to be involved and, you know, bring Indigenous thinking to those projects. So we're a gold sponsor, as Siobhan mentioned. So what's a 220-year-old coal port doing at an accelerator event? Look, to be honest, it's part of the future for the whole region. So at the moment, about 97% of our trade and about 70% of the revenue that goes through the port is one thing, right? And we all know that's going to come to an end probably sooner rather than later. And so what do we need? We need the people of the region to come up with the innovations that are going to drive that business model for the whole thriving community moving forward. So that could be, you know, energy innovations, driving down the cost of electricity here in the Hunter so we can produce clean hydrogen, ammonia, methanol, and export that to the world. We've had some luck with the container terminal recently, so we'd love people to bring back, you know, clean and smart manufacture here in the Hunter, building on the great work that's already done throughout the region. Or maybe it's even coming in working for us and teaching old people like me how to do things a bit smarter. So we're really proud to be associated with the Accelerator program, and we can't wait to see all the fantastic things that are presented tonight. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Simon. Another key aspect of successful programs like this are the resources that we're able to leverage, and they're usually people resources. And one of those people is an entrepreneur in residence, and having them involved in a program like this really opens up opportunities for every founder in the program. Their networks, their know-how, and their inherent excitement for helping to solve problems really serves as a catapult for progress for each of the founders. And James Bradley has really just delivered that in spades. Being no stranger to the ups and downs of being a startup founder, James has worked tirelessly with each and every founder to challenge their assumptions and move the needle on their progress. I'll now hand over to James, the co-founder of Diffuse Energy and our entrepreneur in residence, to just say a few words.
I laughed because I got to bring notes. So I think, first of all, the most important thing tonight is to give a bit of thanks. So for those, I've been around this space for a little while, and Siobhan, Richard and Kelly and the team do just crazy amounts of work in the innovation ecosystem in Newcastle. And they make all of our lives easy and are a fantastic asset and wonderful to work with. So if you've got a glass, raise it. If you've got hands, clap. Thank you, guys. Also, I'd like to just recognise the fact that the university is involved here. So the university is a research organisation, but we've brought in 7 teams from within the community just to help them out, right? And I think the university just needs to be recognised for that as an external university person. It's amazing. Comments from the teams that I've kind of collated over time. This is a game changer for us, the best thing we've ever done, and you know, I feel honoured that the university would support us in this way. So, you know, it's just a testament to the uni. So well done, uni. Pat yourself on the back. And it is always nice to be able to say something nice about the state government. So the state government also co-funded the building and the program. Investment New South Wales actually does a lot of really good work right throughout New South Wales in regional areas to support things that drive jobs, right? And that's what this is part of. Thank you. And the last thank you is to the teams. So stupidly at the beginning of this program, I made the comment that I will reflect their effort. And if they do good things, then I'll bounce along with them because I'm easily led. and the buggers all work their ass off. So I've been pretty busy for the last 10 weeks, which is great. So what is an accelerator? So, you know, I suppose the name's on the tin, but what do we do? So the most important thing we do is form a cohort. So we've got a very eclectic group of teams here, you'll see. Having them all in a room together is kind of self-infectious, right? And then we take that cohort and we dip it into the local ecosystem, right? And so then all of a sudden they've got support that's quite broad. So that's number one. Two is we actually have a bit of a program that we run them through, right? And so most of it is me calling BS on all of their assumptions. So we make them focus very heavily on their customers, like they actually have one, and that the customers actually cares about the things they think they care about. And then we kind of run the same methodology across all other aspects of their business. So the business model, their marketing, their IP, and we bring in subject matter experts, not me, to help them out through that, and then I just pick up all the pieces when it breaks. And the guys have done the work, right? So there has been some massive efforts done by these guys, and I'm just going to give a couple of highlights. So Micah from Zomi in week 2, I think, came to me pretty seriously overwhelmed at the realisation of how much work she had to do in order to launch her product in, I think, February, March next year was the original plan. On week 6, I had a rather robust discussion with her that I thought she could launch before Christmas, and all the good reasons why I thought she could do that. She launched last week, right? It's amazing. Jess from Resourceful Living came into the program kind of trying to do everything. So they were serving markets, they were doing all this stuff, right? Trying to work out what they could do that was great. 2 weeks ago, signed a deal with one of the biggest companies in Australia to supply product to them probably over the next 6 months to the tune of close to $500,000. And that'll set them up for success and growth. So that's amazing. It's been structured perfectly for them. And an interesting one is sometimes acceleration's not in the direction you want it to go, right? So we've had one team here, Ecowater, who was looking at treating ponds for regional councils, has now got the Australian prawn industry on the hook. So we kind of came in this direction and sent him out in that direction. Copped that on the chin, right? So he's done wonderful work. Well done. I took the opportunity between flooding in central Victoria and New South Wales last week. I had to go and do an install down in southern Victoria, so then I had a good 30 hours in the car by the time I'd gone there and done back. So I listened to a book, and the book was Happy by Darren Brown. It's on my popular reading list now. I don't know if Liam Manning's here tonight, but he put me onto it. It has many good things in it, but one of the things that really struck me was that there are 2 things in our life that we control, and they are our thoughts and our actions. Everything else out of our control, right? So what does that mean for our teams? Things are going to go wrong. Despite all of our best planning, hard work, stuff's going to happen. The world has a miraculous way of throwing curveballs. If you want to talk to me about that afterwards, I can tell you a couple of them. But how you react to those is up to you, right? And if you continue doing your good work as you have been, you're in good stead. For our audience, tonight you're going to hear from some great teams. Every single person in this room can help these teams in some way. So I want you to really carefully think about how you might be able to help them and then act. Okay, thank you.
That's it. Thank you so much, James. It's been just an absolute pleasure to have you part of the program. Yeah, it's been great. So the I2N Accelerator program has been developed with a sharp focus on founder development and providing the resources needed to support their ventures on their business journey. And this has included 6 volunteer mentors, and they're drawn from our Venture Mentor Service program. And they provide weekly mentoring sessions, an entrepreneur in residence who provides weekly group and one-on-one coaching sessions. I'd actually say more than weekly, but that's okay. And I'm sure our mentors probably take a few calls and emails outside of the weekly meetings as well. We've also had 11 subject matter experts who've delivered insight workshops throughout the program as well. Many of them are all here today. So here's a snapshot of the programs and the names and faces of those that are involved. We are so incredibly grateful to each of these individuals for their generous hand in assisting our founders. Like I said, many of them are doing it voluntarily. And without people like that within our ecosystem to help support the next generation of entrepreneurs grow, we're not going to get those outcomes that we're looking for. So without your support, we wouldn't be here tonight. So I'd really like to give another round of applause to our mentors. So welcoming our cohort of founders on the first week and watching them week on week discover, test, and in some cases pivot and ultimately grow has just really been spectacular to see. I really want to offer my congratulations to all of the team members on their commitment to the program and more importantly to each other. It's been an absolute honour to have watched you grow on this little small leg of your journey, and we're looking forward to continuing to support you with ongoing mentoring and coaching and co-working from the incubator on level 3. So next, you're going to hear 5-minute presentations from each of the 6 incredible ventures. Following these presentations, you'll be able to connect with each of the founders at their booths, just in the annex there. So you can ask them any questions that you've got, or maybe tell them about any ways that you might be able to help. For the rest of you, there's some good old-fashioned networking to happen. It's been a while between drinks for a lot of people, and so we're really excited to just be able to put our network effect to good use and catch up with each other as well. So without any further ado, I'm now going to introduce the very first founder to pitch their presentation tonight, and it's Koelma from Zomi. If you can please give it up for Mika.
Thank you, Siobhan. Okay. So hi, I'm Koelma, co-founder of Zomi, Australia's first reusable menstrual disc. Now, some of you may be wondering what even is a menstrual disc, and we'll get to that. But let me introduce myself and my team. I have the privilege of working with one of my favourite people, Zoe Felberg, my sister. Zoe and I have really complementary skills. Zoe's background is in corporate banking, product development, and finance. And I'm an arts educator, disciplined in the creative industries, and I have a background in health. Our collaboration began a while ago, navigating issues that we faced with our own periods. And so we decided to found Zomi. Zoe is now a mother of 2, gorgeous little people. And, we were busy with work and our jobs, and period management, as some of you may know, is a little bit annoying, having to get to the bathroom to change a period product so it doesn't leak. Well, now Zoe's a little bit more under pressure. And so with 2 little children, she's navigating how to do that. I've really tested period management to its limits. Here I am, hanging off of a steep section in the Swiss Alps of a 12-hour climb. An amazing day, a great memory. That week, my period decided to show up. So, slightly inconvenient and a little bit of a challenge. And it really got me thinking at that time, how do I do life with a period better? And so we decided to start Hey Zomi. But let's get a little bit more to the specifics, because there are 456 periods that happen in a menstruator's life. And usually every month, people are using 20 pads or tampons. And that equals 9,120 pads or tampons every month. Let's go a little further. Because in 2019, Women's Health Australia did a post that calculated how much was spent per month on period care. It's about $20. And if you add that up, over 40 years of having a period, that's almost $10,000. And it's no wonder that 1 in 5 menstruators in Australia can't actually afford basic period care. And if we go even deeper, the amount of disposal period care waste that ends up in landfill in Australia every year is 200,000 tonnes. And that's really shocking. But our vision is to change that, and we have a solution. The Hey Zomi reusable menstrual disc. All you need is 1 Hey Zomi disc every period. Our vision is to put the power back in the hands of menstruators to have periods on their own terms. So how does a menstrual disc work? So it sits under the cervix internally and collects menstrual fluid. It's different to a menstrual cup that uses suction like a plug to collect menstrual fluid, and because it's tucked up behind the pubic bone, it has a really distinguishing feature. You can actually have mess-free period sex while using the disc. And this is so awesome because it's super empowering to have a period, but actually feel like you're not having a period. You can wear the Hey Zomi disc for up to 12 hours. You don't have to remove it to empty it, and that's ultra convenience. We have TGA approval. It's made of 100% medical grade silicone, so it's really safe for your body. It's reusable for a minimum of 5 years. Really happy planet there. We are Australian designed, made and owned, manufacturing out of Melbourne. And you can see by the design there's this unique little handle that makes for easier removal, and it's a one of a kind. There's no other menstrual disc like this in the world. So Zoe and I have IP protected it, and we're selling to an international market. So the Hey Zomi disc is $55, and I'll let you do the maths, but that works out, instead of spending $20 a month on period care, it's only $1 a month, and that's so much more affordable. So where are we at with Hey Zomi? So we just launched our website last week. Yeah, it's really exciting. Thank you. And I do have to acknowledge the I2N Accelerator program. I wouldn't have done that. I know that. It's been a big effort, but thanks to the mentors, thank you James, thank you Siobhan, and Richard and Kelly, the team, and all the people that showed up for us, so many experts. I know that my cohort are super thankful, so thank you everyone for that. So we have a pre-order. It's available. You can scan that QR code to our website. You might want to get your phone out now and line it up. But if you subscribe to the pop-up, you get a discount code to your email, and you can also follow our journey, connect with us, find us on heyzomi.com. There's the QR code. I'm on LinkedIn, and you can find us on our social media platforms. I really look forward to having conversations with you this evening. Thank you so much.
Great work, Mika. I'm really delighted to be able to present our next speaker, Keiran James from businesssales.com.au. Over to you, Keiran.
Thanks, Siobhan, and good evening, everyone. I'm Keiran, delighted to be here. And I'm from businesssales.com.au. We are Australia's only purpose-built business sales platform. because most of the websites that exist in this space, here's our website. Most of the websites that exist in this space are just rebadged real estate platforms. There's also a rebadged recruitment platform, and my personal favorite, some business owners like this one who try to sell their $1.4 million business on the same platform that this guy is selling his $89 heated soup maker. It's ludicrous. Hardworking business owners deserve better. So we built BusinessSales from the ground up for selling businesses, not houses, not jobs, and definitely not blenders. And you might be wondering, well, why is this important? Does it really matter? Yes. When you're selling a business, the most important part is controlling the confidential information, even the fact that the business is for sale. Because let's face it, everyone hates uncertainty. So if you're a staff member and you find out that the business is for sale, you start to worry, get nervous, good staff members leave, and there's a raft of other issues for suppliers, customers, competitors, the landlord. And if you find out that a business is for sale, that gossip spreads like wildfire through the community. Ultimately, that pushes your business value down and ultimately means that some businesses aren't even saleable. So when you've got a real estate-based platform, you might want to list your business for sale and you'd say, okay, something like a paint shop in Toronto. Sounds reasonable, but in about 3 seconds on Google Maps, I can figure out which business it is. You've just breached confidentiality. And this is very important for our customers because it can cost them everything. So at BusinessSales, we use areas. It's the same search, paint shop in Lake Macquarie, so many options, you can't figure it out until you sign a confidentiality deed, which we do that inbuilt straight through the site. We also have a confidential live chat. And what that means is that sellers can talk to buyers without having to expose their email address or their phone number, which again gives away your identity. We have real-time ID checks. So for buyers who are premium, they get verified check. We use your driver's license number or your passport or even visas if you're not Australian. And we integrate directly into government systems, electronically verify that, and we put that stamp on so that sellers know they're dealing with a real human. We also made the process of finding a business a lot easier by expanding the range of classifications for what businesses exist. And we also integrate with the programs that business owners use every single day, like Xero. This is an example of an inquiry from a rebadged real estate-based platform. As you can see, I can enter all zeros in the phone number field. This is an example of an inquiry on BusinessSales. You get a full profile, you get the verified stamp, you get contact details, all of the information. Now, if you were selling your business, which one would you prefer? The answer's pretty obvious. And in just 14 weeks, we've got 280 businesses live on our platform, worth $233 million. Thank you. Thanks. But it's a big market. There's 2.5 million actively trading small businesses in Australia that are combined worth $821 billion. But currently, there's only 17,000 businesses for sale. But if you ask the ABS, last year, 300,000 businesses exited. That big green section, that's our core market. And it's expected to grow. We've got an aging population with more business owners expected to retire each year after this little COVID-induced blip. It's also bigger overseas. In the UK, there's 5.5 million small businesses. In the US, it's 32 million. In Europe, 33, and hundreds of millions more globally. So how do we make money? Well, we decided to disrupt the traditional model that the industry uses. So it's completely free to list and sell a business for business brokers and for business owners that you can pay to be at the top of the search results. Because what we know is that buyers have their own problems when they're trying to find a business and are willing to pay for tools and resources to speed the process up and save them time. So that's why we have a premium buyer subscription program. That's important. We also have a digital information memorandum, which will be a paid feature that's launched in the next few weeks, and some other features that we're introducing in the next few weeks as well. But let me tell you about the team. So my co-founder, Ian Jones, is a multi-award winning business broker. He's the former president of the Australian Institute of Business Brokers, and he's also a registered business valuer. My co-founder, Shane Fox, has won the industry's highest award, the AIBB National Business Broker of the Year, and he won that in 2019, in 2020, and in 2021. The only broker ever to do so. And me, I'm a registered business valuer, and prior to BusinessSales, worked for a fund manager managing about $500 million. So as professionals who buy and sell businesses full-time for the last 32 years combined, we deeply understand this problem, and we built BusinessSales to solve the problem that we faced every single day. So what's next? We're looking to grow. So if you know, or you are an investor who's backed a successful marketplace in the past, we would love to have a chat about investing in the future of BusinessSales in 2023. So come introduce yourself.
I think there might be someone in the room that actually ticks that box, so I'll point them your way later. Our next presenter is William Perren-Leveridge from Ecowater. Can you please give it up for him, please?
Right, lovely. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is William Perren-Leveridge. I'm from Ecowater Engineering, and I'm here tonight to talk about our journey in algae control. In the summer of 2019, we witnessed dramatic images like this of mass fish kills across the Murray-Darling Basin and other regions of Australia. One of the leading causes of these fish kills were toxic algal blooms. These blooms are rapid explosions in population that dominate waterways when they occur. They take all the oxygen out of the water and they release toxins that kill fish. Our solution to this problem is the floating treatment platform. It's solar powered and it combines two algae control technologies, ultrasonic and ultraviolet. Ultrasonic technology works by sending out low power acoustic waves into the water. These waves disrupt the buoyancy of blue-green algae cells, sinking them to low light levels where they cannot grow any further. The ultraviolet technology works by using sterilization against green algae cells, inhibiting their ability to reproduce. So, what we've done differently here is we've been combined these two, and it helps us to achieve a broad spectrum of algae control to combat toxic algal blooms. To demonstrate our solution, we did an install for Newcastle Council in a pond that had an ongoing issue with algal blooms. Since our installation in December, there have been no recorded algal blooms in that pond. So our next big step forward came in the I2N Accelerator program, where we were encouraged to investigate and explore kind of larger applications of our technology. So part of this customer discovery, we reached out to a bunch of industry leaders in aquaculture, and this is where we came across the unique role that algae plays in prawn farming. So in prawn farming, algal blooms are actually a really good thing. They protect your prawns from UV rays, predators, and actually increase feeding rates. However, not all algae is good for prawns. Heterosigma, for example, releases toxins into the water and can knock out up to 90% of your pond's prawns in a matter of days. It's responsible for reported in Australian farms up to $1 million of loss for each Australian farm. When we pair this problem with the scale of the market, it's the fastest growing primary industry in Australia. Globally, it's worth $28 billion US and is growing at 6% annually. We're talking about a serious pain point here. So this is where we actually had to really pivot how we thought about algae control. Broad spectrum algae control was no longer the aim of the game. Now, instead, selective algae control is what our customers wanted. So by refining our technology, we aim to build a unit that can target problematic algae whilst leaving beneficial algae unaffected to flourish. It's early on in the process, but we've already begun discussions with industry bodies on research collaboration, and this idea really aligns with their strategies in R&D for developing animal health and performance. So our roadmap moving forward will be this R&D, working with industry bodies and hardware development. We'll also be looking out to carve out an intellectual property on our technology, both domestically and abroad, with a particular focus on international markets in Asia, because that's where the lion's share of producers are located, but also emerging markets in Ecuador and Saudi Arabia. Ecowater today is me. I'm a design engineer. I have an experience in product development. I've secured funding for this technology before with the ACT government. I've worked and developed remote water monitoring technology, and I've also worked on projects that are focused on removing mercury pollution from natural waterways. And so tonight, our big ask is industry collaboration and grant opportunities, so we can further test and develop our solution. If you have a shellfish allergy, I do apologise if this was a bit of an abrasive 5 minutes. But again, thank you for your time and your attention. Enjoy your evening.
Great work, Will. And am I right in understanding that you don't actually eat prawns either, Will? No. More for us. Our next presenter I'd like to introduce you to is Jake Bush from Bush & Bush Coffee Systems. Over to you, Jake.
Hi, my name's Jake, and along with my brother Clay, we are Bush & Bush Coffee Systems. Clay has been a coffee roaster for over 15 years, and my background is process engineering. We are both passionate about coffee and process. And it was this dedication to process that revealed to us that the coffee industry itself is responsible for your hit and miss coffee adventures. Terrible, isn't it? What a crime. This industry, worth $100 billion a year, employs 130 million people, makes 2.2 billion cups of coffee a day. Sadly, some of those are going to be tipped out. Our floor space in this industry is from green bean to cup, and these are our 5 contestants. So what is this problem? There is an assumption that the colour of coffee reveals how it needs to be extracted. You may have seen these villains on a coffee bag somewhere near you, and if you go up to the Bunnings paint counter and ask them for a can of medium brown, they will tell you that no such thing exists. And when it comes to coffee, we'd be inclined to agree with them. The actual parameters required to extract coffee perfectly are a linkage between the green bean coffee parameters and the heat transfer process when it is being roasted. Let's have a look at some coffee. This is the traditional alignment of coffee the way people see it today. Light to dark, left to right. The reality, though, is that this is the sequence of extraction solubility from left to right. And how do we know this? Well, we measure it, and we've defined it using the density press and its associated software to arrive at these parameters. You'll see the RD, which stands for roast density, declines from left to right. And because we can define the coffee now mathematically rather than just with a shade of colour, we can also produce the parameters which will lead to the best extraction of that coffee. So now the poor old barista can simply get the coffee within 95% of where it should be without even opening the bag. But what's become of our other contestants? Well, here they are here, and this is how they communicate currently all over the industry. Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Really light brown. Really? We can do better than that. How about if they communicated using these numbers? For the first time, each sector in the industry can communicate precisely and succinctly about their subject matter with another sector. And we think that this will lead to a spectacular improvement in the method of communication. So how do we come up with these numbers? This is our measuring device. We call it the density press. It can conduct up to 19 different tests depending on who you are in the sector and what question you need to answer. It can also calibrate the espresso machine and the coffee grinder, but it works in conjunction with some subscription software. There are 3 calculators in the subscriptions: roasting, espresso, and brewing. And for the very first time, the connection between these 3 groups will make a significant difference to the quality of coffee that you get to drink. That's right. Yes, that should be celebrated. We think that this has the ability to unify the complete coffee industry. In fact, we think that this kit, within 5 years, will influence every coffee bean that's on the face of the planet. And we're pretty happy about that. So, where are we at the moment? Our equipment is in the final assessments in the field stage. And what we need to do is talk to more coffee roasters about how our product and its software can seamlessly interconnect with the systems that they already use. So if you're a coffee roaster or you know a coffee roaster, get them to give us a call on one of these channels. We'd love to talk to them and we'd love to improve the coffee for everybody. Thank you for your time.
Who hates a bad coffee? I mean, it just ruins your day, doesn't it? So this was music to my ears. I'm really delighted to be able to introduce our next presenter, Jess Hodge from Resourceful Living. Please give it up for Jess.
Hi, my name's Jess Hodge and I'm a founder of Resourceful Living. So let me take you back a little bit. You're looking through a magazine and you pick a holiday spot based on a beautiful picture. And then you get there in the morning and it looks like this. Not like the magazine. This is what I was confronted with 8 years ago. But to add to this image, there was a couple of dozers, there was some skip bins and an army full of people cleaning up rubbish off the beach. And no, this wasn't just a one-off thing. This was every single morning. But if you went at 12 p.m, wow, it looked just like the magazine. And from that point, I decided that something needed to be done. Our beaches back home couldn't start looking like this. So I looked into plastic. And can you believe that nationally, as Australians, we spend over $3 billion in 1 year just on plastic waste removal? Just on plastic. That's not any other waste, just plastic. It's crazy. But is it really waste? So it's been reported that over 70% of plastic that is sent to landfill can in fact be reused or recycled. So why are we throwing it out? If we keep it and think of plastic as a resource, businesses and us as consumers can actually reduce our costs and actually be more sustainable. So what can we really do? Well, I'll tell you. You can make recycled plastic furniture, both for your home and office. There's a few ways that we do it. We compress it with some heat. We use injection molding as well as extruding. And we also sell the plastic sheets just as is, so you can create your own product at home at your own time. So if we roll back a year, I was doing a lot of cold calling, a lot of emailing and being like, look, this looks really cool. But 3 months in, we actually hit a gold mark of 600 kilos. And I thought, wow, that's amazing, which actually equates to about 6,000 milk cartons. 8 months ago, 8 months from when we launched, which was about 3 months ago now, we landed a project which was 3 tonne. And honestly, I was like, oh, that's pretty big. And that was 30,000 milk cartons, which really is incredible. We're now in talks to creating 400 office desks, which will actually be 145,000 milk cartons. So to put that into perspective, on average, a family in Australia uses 75 milk cartons a year. So it's a lot. Here's a few of the companies that have come on board with us recently in creating recycled products. And I mean, we have been making quite a few bins. We've made some wine holders and we've also made some tables. So it's exciting to see other companies getting on board in reaching their sustainability goals as well as, using recycled plastic. So a little bit about our team. We may be small, but damn, we're mighty and we're amazing. So there's 3 of us. I'll start with the first person, is my husband Jeff, and he's the mechanical materials and sustainable engineer. He has a look at if things will work. Then there's myself, who I do a lot of the communications, marketing, this, as well as the general business. And then there's my brother Peter on the very end, and he does all our production and quality control. Nothing gets out of that shed door if he hasn't checked it. So together, all our skills complement each other, and we are going to honestly take on the world. It's also been amazing that this year alone, not once but twice, we have been recognised from the business community on an Outstanding Startup Award. So that in itself, just makes me excited. So what is next? Well, excitingly, we are looking at a bigger premise, which is great because we started with a starter factory. And for a whole year now, I've been saying, well, if it works, but now I've got to the point that I say, well, it's working. So we're looking at a bigger facility and potentially looking at getting more local people hired to join us on this amazing, crazy journey of recycling people's waste. So how can you help? Well, if you're a business with a plastic problem that doesn't fit in a yellow bin, I'd love to chat. And also, if you would like to make a product or project that uses recycled plastic, come chat. I mean, it works great as a table, honestly. And the whole reason, if we circle back to why I'm doing this, is so that our beaches can stay this beautiful. And I want everyone to know that when you pat yourself on the back and go, I use my recycling bin every week. It's full. You should see my landfill bin. It's like this big. But my recycling bin's all full. It's actually not recycled until you make a new product. So if you look around your home and go, there's actually nothing that's recycled, it's just in my bin. It's not actually recycled, it's just a collection agency. So when you go home, have a think, have a look around your home. We're honestly surrounded by plastic. And really think about, what can you do that helps the recycling? I mean, we've all heard about RedCycle and the soft plastics. That fell down because everyone here puts things in that bin at Coles and Woolies. But then the demand on the other end for the actual product is like this big. So I want everyone to think, let's buy recycled plastic products. And that is how we recycle. So I'll be over at my booth, but I would love to chat. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Jess. And to our final speaker, please welcome to the stage James Sneddon from Hyphen Health. Please give it up for James.
Thank you, Siobhan. So, Hyphen Health. Doctor's appointments suck. Okay, sorry to all the doctors in the room, Cecily Mitchell, and any other doctors I don't know. But they suck for many reasons. You know, there's wait times, cost, sick people. And then you've all got your own reasons on top. They suck. Now, I do have to add, imagine a doctor's appointment for an STI test. Awkward, hey? Okay, so we've got healthcare. It's the scenic route, we call it. You know, you go to your clinic, you see your doctor, you go to pathology, you get testing so he knows what he can deal with when you go back to the clinic. Then you go to the pharmacy, you get a treatment, or maybe you go to a specialist. It's a scenic route. There's some steps there we can cut out. And we do this with an online form. You can use it on your mobile, like 94% of our customers, and you complete the form, you get your referral instantly, and you can go get a pathology test today. Now, Stigma Health began with an STI test. That's an STI referral there. And it's based on your situation. The form assesses you, and you get the test you need, and you get it today. And you'll get your results. The results are coming within 24 hours sometimes. You're getting treatment next day. It's unprecedented. So our team, we have Dr. Mitchell Tanner, who co-founded this business with me. We're old rugby opposition. And Mitchell is a successful doctorpreneur and runs his own practice in Singleton. It's a very busy 2-doctor practice. Then there's myself, who's an accountant, and I do all the business and customer service. And I once raffled off a bar, so we do whatever it takes. We also have a pharmacist partner, Joseph, and Dr. Nichols, who was previously a pharmacist, joined us in May. And then the rest of our team complete all the cogs we need to be a really scaling healthcare business. Now, Hyphen Health is the house of brands for multiple clinics. And what we do is you skip the doctor's appointment and you get tested today. We started with Stigma Health, our online sexual health clinic. We launched Roid Safe in July, and that's our fastest growing clinic today. It's a steroid harm minimization service. And then we've launched Prep Health. So it's a HIV pre-exposure prophylaxis, a daily medication for men and anyone at risk of HIV. And it protects you against, it's over 99% effective against contracting HIV. So the markets we're attacking the $200 billion Australian healthcare market. And then our niches are determined are about $50 million for PrEP and steroid use, and then $100 million STI screening market. But these are the Trojan horse. These patients are trusting us with their most important, their discretion, they're trusting us. And then from there, we can support them with additional services. So, for example, they're having sex. So we support them with premature ejaculation and erectile dysfunction treatments. There's room for contraception. The sky's the limit. We support them with all their health, but we support them with where they trust us most initially. And from there, we're referring more than 1 in 50 STI tests in Australia. 28% of our Stigma Health customers are reporting this as their first ever test. 1 in 18 Australians on PrEP are on our platform. And we're diagnosing 1 in 40 HIV diagnoses in Australia. We're making a real impact. Just this week, we had a 22-year-old who did his first ever STI test. He had no other STI, and we found he had HIV. Now, HIV is not the death sentence it once was, where there was a Grim Reaper. If anyone remembers advertisements from the 1980s, I don't. But it's not like that, but it doesn't matter. Regardless, that's the worst part of our job, but it's the most important part of our job. So in October 22, 26% of our customers were returning customers. So all of our charts look like this. They're on this trajectory, including our returning customers. We're profitable. We're profitable after marketing. And so we've got the 3 clinics. Roid Safe, launched 4 months ago, is going to be 7% of our revenue this month. We've got over 17,000 patients Australia-wide. At the end of the month, we are on the Australian Financial Review's Fast 100 Fast Starters in the top 50. So, yeah, everything's going in the right direction. In 2023, we're aiming for $10 million in annualized revenue and over 10,000 tests a month. And we're going to do that by expanding our user base with existing and new growth channels. We're going to expand our customer service. We're going to improve our business because that improves growth, just iterating. And then we're going to improve payback by increasing lifetime value from customers by offering additional services. So, if you're in health and looking to improve sexual health, get in touch. If you're interested in research, we've got some great data on patient activation and sexual health and STIs. We'll have over 2,000 tests this month. We've got great data. And then, if you're interested in big change in the Australian healthcare next year, we're going to need a big amount of capital, and you've got that. Let's have a coffee. Thank you.
Great work. Well, that's all of our pitches for tonight. Can we please give everyone a big round of applause? Congratulations to all of you. It's probably the most nerve-wracking moment of anyone's life, getting up on stage and putting forward their idea and what their hopes are for the future and putting all of their faith into the business ideas that they have. It's a really courageous leap. Congratulations to all of you. You've just weathered the storm, gone through the strides really admirably, and it's been an absolute pleasure to help you on your journey. And we're really looking forward to continuing to support you over the next 6 months and beyond, because once you're in the ecosystem, you can't get out. I would also really just want to thank again our mentors, the domain experts and facilitators, James Bradley, our entrepreneur in residence as well. So if we can give them a round of applause again too, please. And to our partners. Like I said before, it wouldn't happen without them, so I cannot stress enough just how much we appreciate their support. Davies Collison Cave, the Port of Newcastle and the New South Wales Government through Investment New South Wales Boosting Business Innovation Program. Please, if you bump into anyone from any of those organisations, let them know how much you love I2N and the work that they're doing to help support us. So that's it for the official sort of formal part of the evening. We will now be ending the evening with networking, but all of our all of our ventures will be in the annex after we take some quick photos for you to be able to answer any questions that you might have about their products or services, how you think you might be able to help or provide any networks and connections to our amazing founders who've presented tonight. Otherwise, grab a drink, grab some food. We're here till 8 o'clock and we'd love to have a chat with you more broadly anyway. So thank you again so much for coming along and for, just being awesome people. Thank you. Can I get all the founders up on stage first? And we're just going to get a quick group shot with all the founders. Up you get, guys.